Welcome to my channel. If you enjoy this story, don't forget to subscribe and like. On the planet Zelthar, a radiant world where glowing forests stretch like a shimmering galaxy against the dark, light is more than beauty, it is the emblem of life itself. Ancient trees tower high, their leaves emitting a gentle blue luminescence that bathes crystal-paved pathways leading to the royal palace. There, in an isolated chamber deep within the eastern wing, Princess Liora sits quietly on a silver velvet chair. Her hands tremble faintly, not from cold, but from a congenital condition the Zeltharians call the curse beneath the stars. In her grasp is a glowing crystal, the planet's most precious material, which she carves with unsteady fingers into the form of a cosmic dragon, its wings spread wide as if embracing the stars, its eyes glinting like eternal flames. Each line is flawless, each reflected gleam tells a tale of longing and profound solitude. Yet no one cares. Not a single gaze lingers to admire it. The Zeltharians worship perfection, physical vigor, mental harmony, and energy that flows as smoothly as an unrippled stream. To them, Liora's trembling hands mark her as weak, an unacceptable blemish in the royal lineage. The court whispers behind closed doors, branding her the flawed princess, unworthy of the light. Even her family, Queen Liora and her brother, Prince Veyron, avert their eyes, as if her presence reminds them of an indelible failure. They speak of her only in relation to her fateful day, her 20th birthday, when the bonding ritual will take place. If she fails to find a partner to meld energies through neural resonance, she will be exiled from Zelthar, cast out to a barren wasteland among the stars where no light reaches. Bonding is not merely a rite of love, it is survival. Through neural resonance, two beings share energy and emotion, forging a bond that strengthens both, extends their lifespans, and maintains bodily equilibrium. Without a partner, vitality fades, the body weakens, and death creeps in like a cold wind through a darkened wood. For Liora, shunned since birth, finding someone seems an impossible dream. Who would bond with her? A noble once sneered at a banquet. Her trembling would shatter any resonance, dragging both into the abyss. Crueler voices even suggested banishing her early to preserve the kingdom's honor. But amidst the darkness of despair, an unexpected spark ignites from a source no one anticipates. Beneath Zelthar's twinkling sky, during a royal gala held to celebrate the fragile alliance between Zelthar and Earth, light spills from hovering crystal chandeliers, casting rainbows across the opulent crowd. These are no mere decorations crafted from rare Zeltharian crystal. Each gem is hand-carved to refract light into soft, prismatic streaks, as if the night sky has been captured and suspended within the hall. The Zeltharians don extravagant attire woven from luminescent threads mined deep within the planet, shimmering like living constellations. Long robes sweep the floor, adorned with tiny glowing stones that ripple like rivers of light with every step. Laughter echoes, not loud, but pervasive, mingling with the crystalline clink of chalices, themselves carved from crystal, ringing like delicate bells with each toast. A crystalline orchestra, played by white-robed musicians, fills the air with melodies as smooth as a breeze through the glowing forests outside. The atmosphere brims with grandeur and pride, a testament that Zelthar is not just a planet, it is the pinnacle of cosmic perfection. Yet in a corner near a vast window overlooking the luminous garden below, Princess Liora stands alone. Her silver-gray dress is simple, devoid of intricate patterns or sparkling gems like those of her peers. The thin fabric clings to her slender frame but does not glow, reflecting none of the chandelier's radiance. Her pearl-white hair falls loosely down her back, a few strands swaying as she shifts. Her hands tremble faintly, not from cold or fear, but from the curse beneath the stars, a rare defect that denies her the flawless stability of her kind. No one approaches her. No one speaks to her. An invisible barrier surrounds her, as if she is a dark stain on the gala's perfect canvas. When she passes a group of nobles, their chatter dies, their eyes dart away, some stepping aside as if avoiding contamination. Not far off, Captain Marcus Drayce stands quietly near the banquet table, a glowing goblet in hand he has yet to sip. Freshly bandaged from a crash landing earlier, blood no longer seeps from his shoulder, though a dull ache lingers as a reminder of his narrow escape. His Earth diplomatic uniform, once a deep green, is now dust-streaked and torn, making him a jarring contrast to the elegant crowd. His mission on Zelthar was straightforward: maintain the shaky alliance between Earth and this world, despite simmering cultural and power tensions. But standing in this hall, he feels like an intruder, a human among beings who deem themselves the universe's apex. Marcus doesn't rush to blend in. He observes. His sharp blue eyes scan the room, noting every detail: the nobles' graceful, effortless movements, their calculated bows, the way their glowing attire melds with the chandelier light to form a vivid yet frigid tableau. Everything here is staged to showcase perfection, from the banquet tables laden with pearl-like glowing fruits to the guards flanking the grand doors, still as living statues. Then his gaze lands on Liora. She stands apart, near the massive crystal window, revealing the garden, a sea of glowing blue and purple shrubs stretching to the horizon like an ocean of light. From this distance, Marcus can't discern her face, but he notices something odd. She doesn't blend into the gala's perfection. Her dress doesn't shimmer, her hair lacks the jeweled adornments he sees elsewhere. Yet what strikes him most is how she's treated. As she moves past a cluster of nobles, they fall silent, not out of respect, but discomfort. A silver-haired man in a crimson robe grimaces and steps back, hand raised as if warding off something unseen. A younger woman with crystal-bright eyes turns away, whispering with a smirk to her companion. Marcus tilts his head, intrigued. Why? She's a princess, isn't she? He'd been briefed on Zelthar's royals: Queen Liora, Prince Veyron, and Liora, the youngest. But no one mentioned this ostracism. He drifts toward the banquet table, feigning interest in a small, glowing purple fruit that smells of honey, closing the distance without drawing attention. Stopping near a towering crystal pillar, 10 paces from Liora, he sees her clearly. She isn't beautiful in the Zeltharian way: no ethereal features, no stardusted skin, no blazing eyes. Her face is delicate, with sharp but imperfect lines, a slightly high nose, thin lips pressed tight, pale blue eyes tinged with weariness, as if exhausted by her surroundings. Yet something about her holds his gaze. Her hands tremble as she adjusts a simple crystal necklace, a modest piece, unlike the ostentatious jewelry around him, yet it glows softly, as if harboring a hidden energy. He watches closer. Her trembling is constant, rhythmic, like a second heartbeat. But despite it, she stands tall, shoulders unbowed, head unlowered by shame. She gazes out at the garden, eyes lost in another world, far from the gala's laughter and pomp. Marcus senses a strange duality: fragility and strength, isolation and resilience. What makes her so shunned? The trembling? Or something deeper he doesn't yet grasp? A group of nobles passes near him, and he catches snippets of talk. "She's here again?" a high-pitched female voice says, followed by a soft laugh. "Such a disgrace. A princess no one dares approach." A deeper male voice replies, "Don't speak so loud, what if Prince Veyron hears? She's his sister, after all." "Humph," the woman scoffs. "He avoids her more than we do. Haven't you noticed? He hasn't glanced her way once tonight." Marcus turns, spotting Prince Veyron, a tall figure in a deep blue robe studded with dozens of large crystals, silver hair neatly bound. He stands at the hall's center, chatting with guests, exuding confidence and authority. But for a fleeting moment, Veyron's eyes flick to a shadowed corner where a cloaked figure in black lingers. He nods subtly, then resumes his smile unchanged. True to their words, his gaze never drifts toward Liora. Marcus frowns, unease stirring within. He doesn't know Zelthar's culture well enough to judge, but he knows rejection. Raised in Earth's slums, he'd been scorned for his lowly origins, deemed unworthy for lacking wealth or power. Perhaps that's why he can't look away from her. He decides to get closer. Setting the fruit down, he moves through the crowd, maintaining a casual air to avoid notice. Near the window, he pauses, pretending to admire the garden, its towering shrubs, leaves twinkling like fallen stars, light dancing on the ground in intricate patterns. But his focus is Liora. Up close, he hears her soft, steady breaths, slightly quickened, as if suppressing something. Her trembling hands adjust her necklace with startling precision, as if long accustomed to their instability. Their eyes meet abruptly. Marcus freezes, locked in her pale blue gaze. For an instant, he feels an odd connection, as if he understands her pain without words, not pity, but a deep empathy, seeing himself in her, an outcast who still stands. Liora stares back, but only briefly. A flicker of wariness crosses her eyes before she turns away, her face hardening like the palace's crystal walls. Marcus doesn't pursue. He's an outsider, a pariah to the Zeltharians. But that fleeting glance plants a seed of curiosity he can't ignore. He wants to know more about her, her trembling, her rejection. Glancing back, he sees her slip out of the hall toward the garden. The crowd doesn't notice, their chatter resuming as if her departure means nothing. To Marcus, it's a call to act. He sets his goblet down, adjusts his tattered cloak to hide his wound, and follows. He navigates the long crystal corridors, light reflecting off the walls onto his face in strange patterns. In the garden, he finds her on a stone bench, cradling a small crystal dragon statue, its wings outstretched, its glow softening the harsh lines of her solitude. Marcus lingers behind a glowing shrub, watching. She says nothing, her eyes fixed on the starry sky, searching for an answer no one offers. As he turns to leave, a faint sound hums from the statue in her hands, a soft resonance, like a distant whisper, fading into the breeze. Marcus frowns, wondering if he imagined it, but Liora seems oblivious. Suddenly, a voice nearby startles him. "She doesn't belong here," a young Zeltharian noble says, arms crossed, staring at Liora from afar. Clad in a pale gold robe, his short silver hair glints. "That's why no one wants her." Flawed. Marcus turns, brow furrowing. The noble doesn't look at him, only at Liora, eyes dripping with disdain. "Flawed, or just different?" Marcus asks, his low voice edged with quiet anger. The noble shrugs, uninterested in debate. "You're from Earth, aren't you? You wouldn't understand. To us, she's a stain." He walks back to the hall, leaving Marcus clenching his fists. He looks at Liora again, heart heavy. He doesn't know her full story, but he feels the injustice of her treatment. In the statue's gentle glow, he sees something no one else does, a latent power, waiting to be unleashed. In the days following the gala, Marcus can't shake Princess Liora from his mind. Her pale blue eyes, tired yet fierce, haunt him like an unsolved riddle. He knows he's an outsider on Zelthar, a diplomat tasked with peacekeeping, not meddling in royal mysteries. But something about Liora compels him to act. He resolves to learn more, not by asking outright, that would draw unwanted eyes, but by watching, like a hunter tracking prey through the dark. Each morning, as Zelthar's twin suns rise, painting the sky in gold and pink streaks, Marcus stations himself near the palace's eastern gate, where crystal paths wind into the glowing forest. He sees Liora leave alone, walking small trails with quiet resolve. Her gray cloak lacks the shimmer of noble garb, her pearl-white hair loosely tied to shield her face from the wind. Her hands tremble, but her steps are steady, as if accustomed to the world's rejection. Marcus follows, keeping his distance, his military boots tapping softly on crystal stone, masked by the rustling of luminous leaves. She stops at a small workshop deep in the forest, a weathered structure blending into its surroundings. Its mossy wooden door and rough gray stone walls suggest abandonment. Without seeing Liora enter, Marcus might have dismissed it as a forgotten shed. But as she pushes the door open, a gentle blue-purple light spills out, distinct from the palace's crystal lamps. He ducks behind a tall shrub, its glowing leaves concealing him, and peers inside. Through a dusty window crack, he sees Liora sit at a rough stone table littered with simple tools, a small hammer, chisels, and unworked Zeltharian crystals. Smaller than those in the palace, they shine intensely, pulsing with vibrant energy. She picks one, her trembling fingers brushing it, and begins to carve. Marcus holds his breath, watching each careful stroke, slow, deliberate, yet astonishingly precise. Her unsteady hands don't falter, they guide the lines, shaping a tiny warrior amid a meteor storm, sword raised defiantly against the cosmos. The statue's glow bathes her face, highlighting sharp features and eyes alight with an unearthly spark. He can't believe it. The Zeltharians call her trembling a flaw, but here, it crafts beauty that takes his breath away. Leaning closer, he spots dozens of other statues on wooden shelves, forgotten masterpieces. A spaceship rockets through darkness, its hull glinting as if in motion. A firebird soars between galaxies, its crystal eyes blazing. A pair stands hand in hand, light arcing between them like a silent bond. These aren't just art, they're Liora's soul, proof of resilience against the invisible walls society built around her. Yet the solitude here staggers him. No one visits. No friends, no family, no curious souls marvel at her work. Dust coats the shelves. The statues stand silent, like forsaken spirits. Why? Why is such talent buried? He recalls the noble's word, flawed, and anger flares again. To him, this isn't a flaw. It's strength, a difference the Zeltharians refuse to face. Over the next days, Marcus returns, watching from afar. She works tirelessly, sometimes until the suns fade and stars blanket the sky. Some days she sits still, clutching an unfinished statue, eyes lost elsewhere. Others she leaves with hands scratched from crystal work, her face uncomplaining. Marcus notes every detail, piecing together a larger mystery like a scientist assembling clues. He realizes, she's not just creating art, she's telling her story, one no one in this kingdom wants to hear. One afternoon, as the suns dye the forest orange, Marcus risks more. He waits until Liora leaves to gather crystals from a nearby stream where glowing pebbles float like fallen stars. He slips inside the workshop, the air cool with the scent of minerals and a faint sweetness from raw crystal. He explores, touching each piece, feeling their vitality. Lifting a dragon statue wings wide, light flaring like fire, he hears a strange hum. A soft vibration, as if it responds to him. Startled, he sets it down, realizing, these aren't mere sculptures. They hold energy unlike anything on Earth or Zelthar. The door swings open. Liora stands there, trembling hands clutching wet crystals, eyes narrowing at Marcus in her sanctuary. "What are you doing here?" she snaps, sharp but tinged with fear. Water drips from her hall, sparkling on the worn floor. Marcus raises his hands. "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to intrude. I just wanted to see your art." She steps in, slamming the crystals onto the table with a dry clack, then faces him, eyes icy. "Art? To pity me? Or mock me like the rest?" "No," Marcus says firmly, meeting her gaze. "Because it's incredible. Truly incredible." Liora hesitates, caught off guard by his sincerity. She's used to scorn, to cold stares, but incredible, from a stranger a human is new. She turns away, muttering, "You know nothing about me." "Then tell me," Marcus urges, gentle yet resolute. "Help me understand." Silence stretches, her trembling hands gripping the table's edge. Finally, she sighs, sits on a wooden chair, and speaks. She explains choosing crystals by their natural veins, letting her trembling guide each cut instead of fighting it. "They say my hands destroy everything I touch," she whispers bitterly. "But they're part of me. Without them, I couldn't make these." She pauses, adding, "Once, I read an ancient legend in the royal library about the forgotten starlight that guided Zelthar long ago. I didn't believe it, but carving these, I feel like I'm touching a piece of it." Marcus listens, asking earnest questions how she balances her cuts, how it feels to finish a piece. He focuses not on her struggles, but her creativity and will. Then, a twist unfolds. As she describes feeling energy in the crystals, she brushes the dragon statue Marcus touched. A burst of light erupts, illuminating the room with a strange hum, like a distant call. Liora jolts up, eyes wide at Marcus. What did you do to it?" she asks, voice shaking not from fear, but awe. Marcus steps back, equally stunned. "I just touched it. What's happening?" Liora doesn't answer immediately. She examines the statue, then looks at him, her wariness shifting to deep curiosity. "No one's ever activated it before," she says slowly. "Only me. But when you touched it, it reacted. Why?" The question hangs, ushering in a new mystery. These statues are more than art, there's something greater, and Marcus, an outsider, seems tied to them in ways even Liora doesn't grasp. Where will this lead? Only time will tell. The days leading up to the bonding ritual drag on in a suffocating tension, as if Zelthar itself holds its breath, bracing for an oncoming tempest. For the people of this planet, the ritual is no mere ceremony, it's the cornerstone of their society, a tradition upheld for millennia to ensure survival and unity. Through neuroresonance, two souls intertwine their energy and emotions, forging a bond that strengthens both, extends their lifespans, and maintains bodily harmony. Without a partner, life force dwindles, the body falters, and death creeps in like a chilling wind through a shadowed forest. For Princess Liora, the ritual is not just a challenge, it's a guillotine hovering above her fate. Marcus senses the shift in her during their fleeting encounters after that pivotal afternoon in her workshop. The fragile confidence she'd revealed while speaking of her statues has eroded into a quiet dread. She speaks less, her eyes often cast downward, her trembling hands worsening whenever someone carelessly mentions the looming day, her 20th birthday, when she must find a partner or be banished from Zelthar forever. He spots her once in the glowing garden, seated on her familiar stone bench, clutching an unfinished statue of a firebird, its broken wings emit a faint, faltering light, mirroring her spirit. He longs to approach, to offer some spark of hope, but he knows he has no place to intervene. A human, an outsider, he can only watch from a distance, his heart heavy as if laden with Zelthar's crystals. On the morning of the ritual, the kingdom awakens in a fervor laced with unease. Vibrant banners unfurl atop every tower of the central arena, a colossal structure of crystal and glowing stone, its tiered seats encircling the main platform like a ring of destiny. The banners bear ancient symbols of harmony and prosperity, shimmering under the twin suns' light, casting radiant streaks across the sky. Nobles don their finest ceremonial robes, long and trailing, encrusted with hundreds of tiny crystals that gleam like living constellations. Drums echo from afar, slow and resonant, like Zelthar's heartbeat, drawing crowds to the arena. At the platform's center, Liora emerges, a figure both proud and fragile. She wears a flowing gown of her own, making small crystals sewn into sheer fabric, sparkling with every movement, trailing a comet-like glow from shoulder to hem. Her pearl-white hair falls free, swaying in the breeze, but her hands tremble visibly as she stands exposed, igniting whispers from the crowd. "Look, she's shaking like she'll collapse!" A voice sneers from nearby seats, followed by stifled laughter. "Who'd dare bond with that?" Another mocks, loud enough to ripple through the stands. Liora stands firm, striving for composure, her pale blue eyes fixed ahead, but Marcus from the diplomat's tier sees her lips quiver, not from fear but from suppressed fury. The ritual commences. The resonance machine, a glowing orb at the platform's heart, activates with a low hum, like a call from the cosmos' depths. Candidates step forward one by one, placing hands on the device to test compatibility with potential partners. Its light pulses, flaring bright then dimming, signaling success or failure. A young pair touches hands, and the machine blazes briefly before settling into a steady green arc, a perfect bond. The crowd erupts in applause, cheers crashing like waves. But when Liora's turn arrives, the air thickens, the arena holding its collective breath. A young noble approaches, his silver hair glinting, clad in a deep blue ceremonial robe, exuding confidence. He glances at Liora, but upon seeing her trembling hands, he recoils without a touch. "She'd disrupt my energy," he scoffs, turning away amid snickers from the stands. Another candidate, a tall female warrior with crystal-bright eyes, steps up but pauses mere seconds before shaking her head. "Unworthy," she mutters audibly, descending to more jeers. Each rejection strikes Liora like a blade, yet she doesn't crumble. Shoulders squared, she stares at the machine, daring fate to prove her wrong. Marcus watches from the stands, fists clenched until his knuckles whiten. He hates their treatment of her, hates the injustice she endures for something beyond her control. He knows her brilliance, her strength through her workshop creations, but here, they see only her trembling. His gaze shifts to Prince Veyron, seated in the honor tier beside Queen Elora. Veyron stands with arms crossed, his face a mask of indifference as his sister is spurned again and again. When the final candidate turns away, a sinister smirk flickers across Veyron's lips so brief Marcus wonders if he imagined it. Veyron leans to whisper to a guard, then resumes his cold vigil. Queen Liora, perched on a small throne, gazes at the arena but avoids Liora's eyes, as if shielding herself from her daughter's pain. The last candidate, a towering warrior with tightly bound silver hair and haughty eyes, steps up, sparking a faint hope in Marcus. It dies swiftly. The warrior glances at Liora, doesn't even extend a hand, and walks off wordlessly. Laughter swells louder, mingled with taunts. He didn't even try! She's done for! Liora stands alone, the gown's crystals glinting futilely against the encroaching dark. Marcus sees her draw a deep breath, trembling hands balling into fists, yet no tears fall. He can't take it anymore. Rage ignites within him, a wildfire too fierce to contain. He knows he's an outsider, knows interfering could shatter the fragile Earth-Zelthar alliance, but he doesn't care. If no one else will step up, he will. Grabbing a hooded cloak from a corner a careless guard's discard, he pulls it over his head to mask his identity, and strides toward the arena. The crowd buzzes, whispers spreading like ripples. Who's that? Where'd he come from? Guards move to intercept, but Marcus's resolute stare halts them, their hands gripping swords but hesitating to draw. He ascends the platform, stopping before Liora. She looks up, eyes widening at the tall, shrouded figure. Will you bond with me? Marcus asks, his low voice resolute, cutting through the arena's deathly hush. Liora freezes, heart pounding. A jest? A ploy to humiliate her further? But as their eyes meet through the hood's shadow, she sees only sincerity, no hesitation, no pity. She nods slowly, trembling hand reaching out, her cold fingers brushing his. Their touch sparks a faint jolt through her, and the resonance machine flares. Its light starts weak, a dying ember, then explodes into a brilliance surpassing any pair before, shattering Zelthar's records. The crowd gasps, shouts erupting. Impossible! What's happening? Liora feels Marcus's warmth flood through her, steadying her trembling for the first time. Through their bond, she senses his absolute acceptance not just of her talent, but her true self, flaws and all. Then, the twist strikes. As the machine's light peaks, a sharp crack echoes from within, and it emits a strange signal, a piercing sequence unlike any resonance before. The crowd falls silent, then panics. A noble yells, "It's broken! He's ruined the ritual!" But Marcus and Liora feel something else. Through their bond, a voice not theirs resounds from the machine's depths, ancient and reverberant. The chosen has come. The secret of the Starlight will awaken. The machine doesn't just confirm their bond, it triggers something greater, a mystery buried in Zelthar's past. Marcus's hood flies back in the wind, revealing his human face, dark brown hair, piercing blue eyes. The arena erupts in chaos. A human? This can't stand. Outrage surges. Lord Koran storms the platform, face flushed with fury. This insults our sacred ritual. A lowly human can't bond with a Zeltharian. Marcus stands unshaken. I am human, he declares, voice booming across the arena. But I felt what none of you dared try. Her trembling doesn't weaken her, it makes her unique. If you'd see her, you'd know how extraordinary she is. Liora steps beside him, fists clenched. You call yourselves perfect, she says, voice quaking yet powerful. But perfection without compassion is hollow. None of you saw me until today, until he did. The crowd hushes, tension lingering. The machine's voice echoes in their minds, faint and enigmatic. The secret of the Starlight. What is it? Why only they hear it? The bonding ritual hasn't just altered Liora's fate, it's unlocked a forgotten truth that could reshape Zelthar forever. The bonding ritual's shattering climax leaves Zelthar's central arena in unprecedented turmoil. Shouts, murmurs, and frantic footsteps reverberate through the crystal stands, as if the kingdom trembles under the weight of the unthinkable. Marcus Drayce, a human, has bonded with Princess Liora, defying every boundary the Zeltharians hold sacred. The resonance machine's blinding light lingers in memory, but the sudden crack and cryptic voice, "The chosen has come," The secret of the starlight will awaken, turn awe into dread. No one knows its meaning, yet it ripples through the planet like a stone shattering a still pond. Guards swiftly escort Marcus and Liora from the arena, their hands loosely bound with glowing crystal cords more symbolic than restrictive, as none dare mistreat the princess before Queen Liora. They're led back to the palace through long, echoing corridors, crystal walls casting eerie light across their faces. Liora walks ahead, hands trembling but eyes alight with newfound resolve. Marcus follows, calm yet plagued by questions about the voice in his head. Outside, the crowd roars. Some demand Marcus's immediate exile, others whisper of a sign from the starlight, as if the ritual heralded a lost prophecy. The royal council convenes an emergency session that night in the palace's vast crystal hall. Shimmering walls reflect light from high chandeliers, creating a space both majestic and frigid. Lords and nobles sit around a massive glowing stone table, faces taut, some gripping its edge as if ready to strike. Lord Koran, a towering man with tightly bound silver hair and knife-sharp eyes, rises first, his voice thundering. This bond is illegal. It violates millennia of law. A human, a lesser being, dares taint our sacred ritual? If we allow this, it paves the way for Zelthar's ruin. Lady Valis, a gaunt noble with pursed lips, stands in support, her voice cutting like ice. This isn't just law, it's our identity. Zeltharians are light, perfection, superior harmony. Allowing a human into the bonding ritual insults our ancestors, defiled the Starlight's bloodline. We must annul this bond at once, exile the outsider, and try Princess Liora for consenting to this farce. Her words echo, drawing nods from some, though a few eyes waver, uncertain of the unfolding truth. Liora sits beside her mother, Queen Liora, hands clasped tightly, nails digging into her skin until faint red marks bloom. She fights for calm, but the accusations weigh like boulders on her chest. She's endured scorn since childhood, whispers, cold stares from her own kin, but hearing it proclaimed in open council cuts deeper than she expected. Marcus stands near, freed from bonds by Liora's subtle intervention, yet he remains the focus of hostility. His tattered uniform and freshly bandaged shoulder mark him as an interloper, but his stance is unyielding. He meets Koran's glare without flinching. You speak of purity and perfection. Marcus begins, voice low but resonant, ringing through the hall like a challenge. But I see only fear. Fear of change, fear of difference. You call our bond an insult, but I call it progress, a step to make your society stronger, if you'd open your hearts. Liora's trembling isn't a flaw, it's a strength you won't acknowledge. His words strike true, shifting some counselors in their seats, their glances flickering with doubt. Koran roars, slamming the table, its light flashing like lightning. Silence, outsider! You've no right to judge us. You're a destroyer, and I'll see you pay. Queen Liora sits still on her throne, hands resting lightly, her face an unreadable mask. As Zelthar's ruler, the final verdict is hers, but her eyes waver between duty and love for her daughter. She witnessed the ritual, saw the machine's brilliance, heard the crack and strange voice, but she doesn't yet know what to make of it. The debate rages for hours, shouts and accusations shaking the chandeliers. Koran and Valis lead the opposition, demanding Marcus's banishment and Liora's confinement as an example, while others like Lord Terran, an elderly man with pensive eyes, murmur. If this bond is so potent, are we missing something vital? Liora can't endure it longer. She rises, voice quaking but eyes ablaze, cutting through Koran's bellow. All my life, I've been told I'm not enough, she declares, her words a proclamation ringing through the hall. That my trembling makes me unworthy of love, of belonging. But today, someone saw past that and saw me, not my title, not my flaws, but who I am. She pauses, turning to her mother, eyes glistening yet tearless. If you annul this bond, you don't just reject Marcus, you reject me. And if being Zeltharian means living by rules that cast out the unfit, maybe I don't want to be part of it anymore. The hall falls into stunned silence. Never has anyone, let alone a flawed princess, challenged the council so boldly. Time halts, and then Queen Liora rises, her voice soft yet weighted with authority. Perhaps we've been wrong. The room gasps, even Liora staring at her mother in disbelief. Liora draws a breath, her regal poise softening as she steps from the throne. I've always believed preserving tradition was my duty, no matter the cost. But today, I see how blind I've been. My daughter isn't flawed. She's strong, gifted, and deserves happiness. If her bond with Marcus proves anything, it's that we must redefine perfection. Her admission ripples through the hall. Liora's eyes well up not from sorrow, but from her mother's first stand in her favor. Then, a twist erupts. As Liora finishes, a deafening boom shakes the hall, chandeliers swaying wildly. The main doors burst open, and a squad of black armored guards not bearing the royal crest storms in, wielding strange glowing swords. Leading them is Prince Veyron, Liora's brother, his face cold and eyes burning with unforeseen malice. No one redefines anything, Veyron says, voice low and sharp as a blade. Unless I allow it. He strides to the hall's center, pointing at Marcus and Liora. This bond is a mistake, and I'll correct it at any cost. Zelthar needs no outsiders or defectives. I've allied with a greater power to ensure that. The black guards advance, encircling Marcus and Liora, as Koran smirks from his seat. After the sudden assault in the Crystal Hall, Marcus and Liora plunge into unprecedented peril. Prince Veyron, with his black armored guards and icy resolve, has turned the emergency session into a covert coup, vowing to nullify their bond and threatening their exile from Zelthar. But Queen Ellora's timely intervention ordering loyal royal guards to block Veyron grants them a narrow escape. Forced to flee the palace, they race through secret underground passages known only to Liora, where natural crystal walls cast faint, guiding gleams. Her trembling hands grip Marcus's, but her voice is steadfast. We can't stop. If Veyron wins, it's over. They take refuge in Liora's small workshop, hidden deep in the glowing forest. The familiar space, filled with crystal statues, becomes their last stronghold. Marcus leans against the stone table, checking his shoulder wound still sore but manageable while Liora rummages in a corner, retrieving a dusty wooden box. Inside lie unworked crystal shards, unlike her usual ones. They glow a deep, uncanny purple, as if brimming with potent energy. I found these near the northern border, she says, voice low but resolute. I never used them, they felt different. But after the ritual's voice, I think they're tied to the secret of the Starlight. Marcus eyes the shards, recalling the voice. The chosen has come. The secret of the Starlight will awaken. He touches one, and a small surge jolts through him, making him recoil. They're not just art, he says, eyes alight. They're a key. If Veyron wants us gone, we'll use them to fight back. Liora nods, a spark of hope igniting in her gaze. They're not just fleeing, they're igniting a battle to reshape Zelthar's destiny. They form the Starlight Alliance, a clandestine movement uniting those cast aside by Zelthar's society, defectives, like Liora, and dissenters weary of rigid traditions. Their base is an abandoned palace wing, where Liora hangs her statues, each a symbol that beauty and strength can bloom from imperfection. Working tirelessly, they harness the purple crystals to craft experimental resonance devices, amplifying their bond's energy into waves potent enough to disable the Black Guard's weapons. Liora hosts secret forest gatherings, teaching recruits to turn flaws into power. One evening, under the forest's dim glow, she kneels beside Kalia, a blind girl who senses crystal energy better than anyone. When Kalia falters carving a statue, Liora takes her hand, voice gentle. Don't fight it. Let your senses guide you. Trust yourself. Kalia persists, and from her fumbling hands emerges a glowing crystal flower. Her smile draws one from Liora, a rare moment amid relentless days. This is why we fight, she whispers to Marcus later. Not just for us, but for them. Marcus leads scouting missions, infiltrating Veyron's zones to rally allies. He shares his story, a poor earth boy scorned for his roots, now standing here, and his honesty resonates, especially with exiled engineers and scientists branded heretics. One, a wiry man named Zorak, once studied the purple crystals before banishment. They're not natural, he reveals, eyes gleaming as he examines a shard. They're remnants of ancient tech, buried since Zelthar was a colony of a lost empire. Activated right, they could change everything. Under Zorak's guidance, the Alliance builds a larger device, the beacon. Its test sends a wave through the forest, illuminating every statue for miles. But success brings risk. Veyron, backed by a suspected alien force, detects them. One night, as Marcus and Liora tweak the beacon, black guards raid the workshop. Explosions shatter the silence, smoke chokes the air, and glowing swords slash through. Marcus shields Liora, using a small device to repel foes, but they're outnumbered. In desperation, Liora seizes the largest purple shard, hands shaking but eyes firm. She slots it into the beacon and triggers it with their bonded energy. A violet blast erupts, stronger than anything prior, sweeping the guards away and shaking the forest. As smoke clears, Liora gasps, leaning on Marcus, her eyes blazing with triumph. "We did it!" she rasps, voice hoarse yet proud. The next night, as the beacon's light flickers, a figure appears at the door. Queen Elora, in a plain cloak hiding her crown, steps in, holding a faded scroll. "I found this in a secret vault," she says, voice rough. "It speaks of the purple crystals, weapons of a fallen empire. I can't stop Veyron openly, but I can help you." Her tearful eyes meet Liora's. "I'm sorry, my daughter. I was wrong to leave you alone so long." Liora trembles, speechless, grasping her mother's hand briefly before Elora departs. Word of the Alliance's power spreads, drawing allies from Zelthar's shadows. Youth form the Stellar Guild, openly advocating change. Skeptical scientists study the crystals, finding they bond with any neural energy not just Zeltharian, threatening the ritual's monopoly. Even Lord Terran, once wavering, sends covert support, promising to sway others when the time comes. Amid it all, Marcus and Liora find strength in each other. One quiet night, beneath the beacon's glow, they sit hand in hand. "I never thought I'd do this," Marcus says, staring into the dark. "I came to Zelthar for duty. Now," Liora smiles, resting her head on his shoulder. "Now we're giving them a chance to see themselves." Their bond not only steadies her trembling but fuels a movement. Yet challenges loom. Veyron, though repelled, persists, amassing forces with alien aid for a greater assault. Marcus and Liora know they've only begun. The Alliance must grow, the beacon must be perfected, and the Starlight's secret fully unveiled. They rise, purple light reflecting in their eyes, ready for the next trial. Their journey to change Zelthar isn't just for survival, it's for a future where all belong under the stars. Years have passed since those dark days of flight and struggle. Zelthar is no longer a realm of rigid perfection, but a world ablaze with light of diversity, compassion, and bonds transcending all divides. Marcus Drayce and Liora stand together beneath the twin sun's radiant glow, at the unveiling of a monument to their journey. Carved from purple crystal relics of ancient tech they unearthed, it depicts two figures reaching across a starry chasm, its light melding with Zelthar's natural brilliance. The inscription at its base is simple yet profound. "True harmony springs from difference, not sameness." A crowd gathers, not just Zeltharians, but envoys from dozens of galactic worlds, humans, aliens, and once shunned souls, united under one sky. Among them is Kalia, the blind girl who carved her first crystal flower under Liora's guidance, now a famed artisan. Zorak, the exiled scientist, leads an academy studying purple crystals, reviving lost tech to connect all species. And Lord Terran, his hair now snow-white, stands quietly, a faint smile marking his witness to history's shift. Liora steps to the podium, hands still trembling but voice strong and warm, resounding through the throng. "I once believed my shaking was a curse, that I was unworthy of love or a place in this universe. Then he came." She turns to Marcus, eyes shimmering. "And showed me what I thought was weakness was strength. Together we built a world where no one need feel alone." Applause rises, not mere approval, but a shared resonance from wounded hearts. Marcus takes her hand, stepping beside her. "This isn't just our victory," he says, voice deep with emotion, "but yours all who dared believe difference isn't a barrier, but a bridge. We've proven compassion can conquer fear, that every soul deserves to shine. His gaze sweeps the crowd, resting on young faces, children of a new Zelthar, unbound by prejudice. Months before the unveiling, Veyron met his final defeat. In a decisive battle at the northern border, the beacon unleashed a blinding purple surge, shattering his Black Guard army. Yet the killing blow came not from the Alliance. The alien force he trusted betrayed him, abandoning him amid the wreckage. Tales say Veyron survived, now a wanderer among the stars, a lightless exile. As the ceremony ends, they step down, hand in hand, amid laughter and lively tales. A girl dashes up, pressing a small crystal firebird wings aglow into Liora's hands. "Thank you," she says, eyes sparkling. Liora kneels, smiling. "No, thank you for carrying this light forward." Marcus watches, heart swelling with wordless warmth. Beneath Zelthar's starry sky, they know their legacy isn't just a monument, or the Alliance, it's the hope they've sown across the cosmos, a vow that every being, however imperfect, can find belonging. As the suns dip, the purple monument's light endures, a beacon guiding generations to come.